There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Kissi.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. From the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Eyim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Eyim, we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I have been blessed, and so you be blessed. Thank you.
We spend a lot of time developing our professions, but we don't spend time developing ourselves. Look, as a leader, as a professional, you have to grow. You have to grow yourself. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. So we are bringing you this special studies based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And we're going to just spend time with you and help you go through the principles that you need to be able to grow your person, to become a better person. Because if you become a better person, you become a better leader, you become a better father, you become a better professional. Do not miss this opportunity, as the masterclass is going to be very practical and discussional. It is going to be a limited number of people. So please register now to be part of the program. Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I thank God Almighty for tonight.
and I thank you. We are here as always on Saturday evening to learn about leadership. Leaders are learners, and therefore, as leaders, true leaders, we cannot cease learning. So we appreciate all of you who spend part of your Saturday evenings with us. We do not take it for granted. It is an honor to be here to serve you and to bring great leaders of knowledge, of experience to share with us every Saturday. So I'm very excited about what we're going to learn this evening. And so please connect with us, share the links that we have shared, like our Facebook page, share, subscribe to our YouTube page. Those of you on Twitter, please retweet the link to others and invite your bosses, especially your managers, your supervisors, your HR people. Bring them around the table and let us learn together, because we are going to discuss a very important subject, and we have a very competent, experienced leader to lead us in that discussion. So please introduce yourself. If this is the first time you're joining us, go ahead, introduce yourself, and we are proud to introduce you to the world. We're going to be together for an hour and a half. We're going to introduce our speaker to you, and then she is going to speak to us for between 30 to 40 minutes. Then it will be your turn to share your experiences, to share your learnings, your knowledge. This is a knowledge sharing platform, to ask your questions, the things that bother you, your experience at work, and your experience as a leader. What are the nagging issues about motivating your people? So please get ready. I see already Conrad Kakraba. He says this will be insightful. Already we know. Falatu Abdul Mumin is here. He says, good evening. Ofo Mensa Richmond is here with us. Emilia Aqua is here. Frank Asian says, good evening. Please go ahead. We know that many of you who join prefer to hide behind the curtains, but we love to introduce you. So go ahead and introduce yourself once you join, either on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We'll be happy to have you. So I have Edem Kofi. We see you here. All right. So this evening we are discussing a very important leadership matter. And the topic is how successful leaders get the best out of their people with our own leader, who we are going to introduce to you. How do leaders get the best out of people? And I'll tell you a short story to set the stage. I mean, I used to work for a bank, and we recruited an MD for a subsidiary of the group. And this person came, and for the next 6 months, it was all complaints. The people are not good. The place is not good. The portfolio is not good. And everybody is useless. We need to fire everybody and bring in a new set of people. The numbers were going down. For the 6 months he was there, everything was just going down. Even the physical environment of the bank was not appealing to customers, and customers were losing business. Long and short, this person was fired, and another person was brought in as a leader. And within the next 6 months, with the same bank, with the same portfolio, with the same customers, with the same team of people that the previous one says were all useless, the 6 months after, the bank turned around. The numbers were looking up. What was the secret? And that is what we are going to share this evening. And one of the quotes that we shared with you in as a prelude, we said leadership is not so much about techniques and methods. They're important as it is about opening the heart. Leadership is about inspiration of oneself and of others. Great leadership is about human experience, not so much about process. Leadership is not a formula or a program. It is a human activity that comes from the heart and considers the hearts of others. It is an attitude. It's not a routine. Lance Secretan says that. So we're going to learn, how is one leader able to inspire others? and others not able. This evening, we have Mrs. Patricia Abena Kissi, and I joined one of Abena's programs, during the COVID time when she was doing a lot of, HR, free HR platforms and teaching HR issues. And I joined one of them. It was really, really, really good. So when we're looking at this topic, I said, oh, Charlie, this is the best person who can do it for us. So Patricia Abena Kissi is the founder and CEO of Sedat Consult Limited. And Sedat is a human resource and business development consulting firm. She is a human resource management and business development consultant, is a personal and career development coach. Those of you who are looking for somebody to guide you through your career, please, you have the right person right here. Connect with her after the session. And she's also an author. She holds an MA in Human Resource Development from the University of Cape Coast and an Executive Master Class Certificate in Organizational Development from African Management and Productivity Institute in Accra. All right. She also holds a bachelor's degree in Educational Foundations from the University of Cape Coast. She's a member of the Society of Human Resource Management Ghana. As we say always, when you are good, you don't need a long introduction. So I'm going to cut short all the great things that Patricia has been doing because she's so good, she doesn't need a long introduction. And indeed, if she's not good, a long introduction will not help her. But we know she's good and she's ready for us. So at this point, Abena, the floor is yours. Take us away. We are privileged to have you, and we are happy and expectant of what you're going to share with us. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Leadership Platform.
Thank you, Sam. It's really an honor to be here. This is a huge platform, and I do not take it for granted at all. And thank everybody for joining. I'm sure we're going to have a good time together. And it's a conversation, it's going to be a discussion. So I would want your views, I would want your experiences. You just leave them in the comment section, and then we will all discuss it. If you have a question, you just leave it in the comment section, and we'll answer. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Sam, once again for having me. So I'm going to go straight into it. Within the next 30 or 45 minutes, we are going to share how successful leaders can actually get the best out of their people. I mean, this is a leadership platform, so I don't need to talk about leadership. If you are here, it means that you're already a leader and you are really, really a successful leader, because there are other people who are not here. If you are here, it means that you want to grow, you want to develop yourself as far as leadership is concerned. So I'm going to share my slide. So give me a few minutes, and then we'll zoom right into it. Okay. I hope you see my screen. If you do, just let me know.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Great. So how do successful leaders get the best out of their people? As an HR consultant, as an HR practitioner, I have experienced a lot of employees, and I have had opportunity of coaching some of them. I've had opportunity of mentoring some of them. I've had opportunity of listening to some of them actually talk so well about their leaders. And unfortunately, I have also heard others lamenting about their leaders. And there's no rule as to what to do to get the best out of people. There are a number of simple things you can do. Like the songwriter said, the little things, that is all you do to get the best out of people. So I'm going to share with you 10 proven, actually, practical things that you can do to get the best out of your people. So if you're ready, let's get started. Right. I mean, I've been introduced already, but one thing I want to add is that I have a YouTube channel called Time with Your Career Coach. If you have time, just go there. There are lots and lots of videos on career issues, what to do to get promoted, what to do to develop yourself in terms of your career and all that. So make time to visit the channel, Time with Your Career Coach. You'll learn a lot. And leave me feedback on the channel once you visit there. And let me know that you were part of the discussion on the leadership platform. Right, so it's going to be a simple presentation. First of all, I would want us to discuss who a leader, a successful leader is. I know that we all know who a leader is, but who is a successful leader? And then we'll go through what I call proven rules, actually basic things that you can do to get the best out of your people from the perspective of an HR consultant. Right. So this very quote sort of lays the foundation for my discussion tonight, and I believe it 100%. It says a good objective of leadership is to help those who are doing poorly to do well, and to help those who are doing well to do even better. That is the whole essence of leadership. Get people who are not doing well to do well, and then those who are doing well to do better. And the discussions that we're going to have, the tips I'm going to share with you are those that when you put them into practice would really help us. So that anybody that you think is poor, because I believe that there is nobody who is bad or poor. It depends on where you are looking at the person, the angle you are at, and the angle the person is. If you put, for example, square pegs in round holes, of course, then they will not be fit. So we'll look at it and see the little things that we can do to bring the best out of people. Now, let me share this startling statistics with you. A study done by Development Dimensions Incorporated in the USA found that 98% of employees, and this is a whooping 98%, who have good leaders are motivated to do their best. 98%. In contrast, only 11 employees with ineffective managers, or for that matter, poor leaders, feel motivated to give their best. So that is why the topic is so relevant today, how successful leaders get the best out of their people. The 98%, the leaders who actually work with the 98%, what do they do differently from the ineffective leaders so that they are able to get the best out of their employees or the people that they work with? We will find out as we go on. And then this statistic actually saddens my heart, that 75% of workers who voluntarily leave their job do so because of bad leadership. And that's according to Gallup 2020 research. And this is so sad. And if you've ever worked with a leader that you have voluntarily left, I'm sure you will understand. And that is why they say people don't leave organizations, they leave their supervisors or they leave their bosses. And this is very true. So what would you do so that your people will not leave you? And it doesn't have to be a very huge thing. The little things that you do will make somebody comfortable to continue to work with you, and it will help them also give of their best, which in the long run will make you a good leader or a successful leader. And then it will also affect the general well-being of the organization. That is why we have leaders who are leading various organizations. This is very sad. And I'm sure some of us may have experienced or may have left our jobs because of our bosses. If you have had that experience, you can just leave it at the comment section just to encourage somebody, and then we will discuss it together or learn from one another. Now, who are successful leaders? I'm sure you have your own understanding of who a successful leader is. So you can also share that under the comment section. And at the end of the discussion, we'll read it out. Okay, learn a thing or two from it. But for me, I look at successful leaders in just two terms or two words. First, I see successful leaders as influencers. people who see the best in others and bring out the best in them. They influence them, and they influence them in a positive way. They are able to pick people who may be even poor, guide them, coach them, mentor them, develop them, and then you realize that they become the best. I always say that if somebody leaves you worse than he joined you, then you have failed as a leader. If you're supervising somebody and they get to the time that they will leave, because people leave, I mean, nobody has a job for life, so people will leave you. When they are leaving you, are they leaving you better than they came, they joined you, or worse off? And that is a food for thought as leaders. Let's think about it. And then the second term is that successful leaders are multipliers. They are leaders who see themselves as coaches, as teachers, and they make it their responsibility to multiply other successful leaders. So they help people to develop, they help them to do better, and then they see that not multiplying themselves, but uniquely bringing out the leaders in the people, and then helping them to be better, sometimes be better than they themselves, and they don't mind. These are multipliers. So for me, successful leaders are, first of all, influencers and multipliers. And these two terms for me define who a successful leader is. And so if you have your own, I'm sure you have your own yardstick of measuring who a successful leader is, you can still leave it under the comment section and we'll all learn from it. So now, what are the proven, tried and tested? And these are little things that, like I said, and things that I have personally used, and I know other successful leaders who have used these tips to help people become the best version of themselves. The best version of themselves. So let's start. First, rule number 1, carefully assess your team members. And this is the genesis, the beginning of your journey in bringing out the best in people. Because if you don't know the people, how would you know what to do to get the best out of them? I know that sometimes we are put in a position of leadership and we just zoom in. We have our targets, we have our goals, we have our objectives to achieve. We just zoom in and we do our own thing without first assessing the team that we are working with. This is very important. How much do you know about your team members? How much do you know about them? Who are they? What excites them? What is it that makes them feel not too good? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What can they do? How much can they carry along with you so that it will not break their backs? Because if you don't do your assessment, there is a probability that you will assign responsibilities to people who are not ready for such responsibilities. And if you do that, you are setting them up for failure, actually. And if you actually give authority to people too soon, you are setting them up for failure. But the flip side is also very true. If you delay and you don't give people the responsibilities that they are ready for, they become bored, they become demotivated. And if they are your A employees, the star employees, they will leave you because they will feel bored. They will feel that they are not being used. They are underutilized. I've had such instances where people have come to me and they want to leave their job because they feel they are not doing much. And your A employees, your A or your star employees, they always want to be engaged and they feel bored when they are not engaged. But how would you know unless you do your assessment? So the first step is actually to do your own assessment. There are some organizations that will use the scientific approach. You can use psychometric testing, or you can use the Gallup talent to check. But you can also go the traditional way. You just have a conversation with them, observe them, and then get to know them better. That way you will know what to do to equip them, because they want to succeed. And they will always be grateful for the leaders that help them to do better, that help them to develop, that help them to succeed. And so you need to make time to study your people, your employees, your team members, get to know them so that you know the right time and the right amount of responsibility to give to each team member so that they will always be engaged and then give off their best. That is rule number one. Carefully assess your team members. Don't just zoom in and start work. Get to know your team members. It's very important. Rule number two, set clear performance goals with the team. And I'm emphasizing with, because I know that sometimes most leaders set goals and then just dish it out to the team members. This is the target you have to achieve for this year. This is the goal for this year, without consulting them or working together with them. Research has shown that if you set goals with people, they take ownership of the goals and they tend to do well to achieve the goals. But if they feel that they are not involved in the process, they don't feel connected with the goals. And even if you set your individual personal goals, they are not connected with your goals, the probability that you not achieve them is so high. So if you want your team members to achieve the goals, which will help them perform better, which will help you as a leader to be successful, then you need to set the goals with them. And setting goals keeps the team focused. And I like the quote here by Jim Rohn. He says that goal setting is powerful because it provides focus, it shapes our dreams, it gives us the authority to hone in on the exact actions we need to perform to achieve everything we desire in life. So if the people don't know exactly what they're supposed to do, they will go and do what they think you want them to do, and then come back and you will tell them they didn't do what you expected them to do. They will go back, it will be back and forth, and it is so frustrating, and it saps energy out of them, and they cannot give up their best. So let's make it a habit to set goals with a team and then motivate them to achieve those goals. Very important. If you have any questions on goal setting, I'm sure some maybe will have another platform where we go into, because goal setting is a whole topic. But just let them know exactly what they are supposed to achieve. Set clear deadlines. So you have clear deliverables, exactly what they're supposed to achieve, and then clear deadlines when they're supposed to achieve those things, so that they work within that and then make sure that they give off their best. Otherwise, it will not help. People will succeed because they know where they are going, and setting goals with them help them to determine where they are going. And if they know where they are going, that is when they will get there. Rule number 3, model the way. And I think on a leadership platform like this, I'm sure you might have heard this before. So the thing is, leadership is all about setting an example. What you want to see in your team members, are you doing that? I always say that when I was in the secondary school, there's one statement our headmistress then, now of blessed memory, used to tell us. She tells us that ladies are seen and not heard. At a young age, we didn't really understand it much, but as I grew up, I then understood it very well. So I'm thinking, okay, the same principles apply to leadership. I believe that leaders are best seen rather than heard, because as a leader, what you do speaks so loudly that your people can hardly hear what you say. So if you are doing something wrong and you are telling them to do the right thing, they are hearing loudly the wrong thing you are doing. And what do you think it will make them follow what you are saying? So model the way. Model the attitude you want to see in your team members. Model the work ethics you want to see in your team members. Model the standards you want to see in your team members. If, for example, you tell your team members to be cooperative, as a leader, be cooperative. You want to tell them that they should be punctual at work. As a leader, be punctual. Because if you keep coming to work late and then speaking it loudly to them that they should come to work early, you are not modeling the way. and it is not helping, and it will not help them give up their best, because they're looking at you. They're looking at you. Leadership is a matter of having people look at you, gain confidence. So seeing how you react, they also react. So if you're in control, they're also in control. And I like this quote. It said the only effective way to truly lead is to practice and model the behavior you want to see in others. And I think this puts it so succinctly. Model the behavior you want to see in your team members. Model the attitude. Model the work ethics. If they are working and you are chatting, if they are working and you are not involved, you are not showing them the right way. Leaders are better seen than heard. Number 4, focus on their strengths and believe in their success. And this is very important. Sometimes we tend to criticize our team members a lot. We are more prone to criticizing them than to focusing on their strength and see that there's something good in them. Because believe me, there's something good in everybody. If you're not seeing it, it means that you have not taken your time to assess your team members to get to know their strength. You see, when you're assessing them, you get to know their strength and you get to know their weaknesses. But I'm saying that focus on their strength. Let them play within their strength zones. Okay, let them work at the place of their strength. That is how you get the best out of people. Sometimes we rather focus on the weaknesses and we say this person is weak in, let's say, numbers, so let's train the person in numbers. Maybe the person is strong in communicating with customers. Why don't you focus on that strength and get the person to interface with your customers, make your customers happy? Because if your customers are happy, they will keep coming to you. So if he's not so good on numbers, why are you hammering it? Why are you wasting time trying to let him learn numbers when he has the strength to interface customers and bring in more customers? Focus on the strength of your team members and then believe in their success. Let them know, show them you believe. Don't just say it. It's important. Sometimes some of the leaders I interact with tell me that, oh, I believe in my team members. Then I ask them, have you told them? And most often than not, no, they have not told them. And they tell me, if you tell them, you get into their heads and all that. Please, people want to hear you say you believe in them. And that is enough motivation for them to go the extra mile and give up their best. So say that you believe in them. Say it. And then don't just even say it. Show it as well. Because sometimes we say one thing and we do another. So for example, we say that, oh, as for this place, we give people room to speak their minds. And then somebody speaks their minds and they are punished for it. It means that your words and your actions are not going together. Let them know that you truly believe in them. That way, you'll be able to get the best out of them. So focus on their strength and let them hear you say that you believe in them and show them that you believe in them. And that will really help them. It's a great motivator, I'm telling you. Right. Then rule number 5, provide honest feedback. It's very important. What I've seen with most leaders is that their team members are working and their focus is on the performance appraiser at the end of the year. So if they do something wrong, they just mark it down. They don't tell the people, they don't say anything to them, they mark it down. And they continue keeping records of the bad things they are doing. And then at the end of the year, when they're doing the appraisal, that's when they bring all these things and then they show them pepper. If, for example, performance is tied to bonus or to reward, then they will not give them the reward. If you do that, you are punishing your team members and you will not get the best out of them. You should give them regular feedback. Don't wait to the end of the year or the end of the quarter when you're doing the appraisal to give them feedback. You will not have helped them and you will not get the best out of them. So give them regular feedback, and I'm focusing on positive feedback. Don't let your feedback seem like criticism, okay? And there's a place where you talk to them and mentor them through their mistakes and their misjudgments. That is fine. But give them positive feedback, especially in public. Let them know what they're doing right. Let them know what they're not doing so right. But in stating what they're not doing so right, don't appear to be criticizing them. It gets them down, and it will really affect the way they perform. So make it your duty, in fact, your responsibility, to always give your team members honest feedback. Honest feedback. Honest feedback. That is very important, because feedback is the key to improvement. If you don't give them feedback, how are they going to improve? If you wait at the end of the year to give them feedback, then they would have wasted so much time to the end of the year, and that will affect your productivity, and that will show, or show anybody who is interested, that you are not a successful leader. So please, let's give honest feedback, and let's make sure that the mistakes that they do, you mentor them, you coach them through their mistakes and misjudgments, and help them improve. Let them know that you're doing well. It's like the sandwich. They said that if you're giving feedback, do it like the sandwich. You know the sandwich, the bread, and then the leaf is supposed to be bitter. Then at the end of it, there's also the bread. So set the positive, not the too positive, and then end with the positive, and let them know that you're doing this because you care and you want them to improve. And I'm sure it will yield the fruit that you have. Number 6, give them power. Most often than not, people are willing to delegate, but they are not willing to share the power that goes with the delegation. So they assign tasks to people, but they will not give them the authority to make decisions concerning the tasks that they've assigned to them. If you do that, you are not helping them. So delegate and then empower them. Let them make the decisions. If they get it wrong, mentor them through the process. If they get it wrong, coach them through the process. Allow them to make mistakes, because it's part of the learning. Everybody has a learning curve. Let them go through the learning curve, but coach them and mentor them. That way, it shortens the learning curve, and you're able to get the best out of them. So and of course, there's a limit to the authority you give at each level. So if you delegate a task that requires basic responsibility, it means that you give them a limit of authority that corresponds with the basic responsibilities that you've given them. So, for example, it comes to the accountant. For example, somebody is given petty cash. The person is given instruction as to how to dispense it. A certain amount, she has to seek clearance for maybe the supervisor. But the petty person is go and buy water. Allow the person to take responsibility, to take decisions concerning that. And if it's beyond them, they will come to you. Sometimes we think that if you do that, we feel redundant. But hey, if you are redundant, for me, it's a good thing. It means that you are up for promotion. Okay, you have trained so many people, they are doing their best, they are doing very well in that area. Then it is a setup for your own promotion. So don't feel bad when you think people are doing what you expect them to do, and you give them the power to make decisions. Of course, there's a limit to that authority that you give to them. And rule number 7, give them recognition and offer public praise. Give them recognition and offer public praise. It's very important. It's always good to reprimand people in secret and then praise them in public, because human beings have emotions. And I like what Sam said from the beginning. It's about emotions. It's not about the technology. It's not about systems. It's about people. And people have emotions. So you need to recognize that. Sometimes we become so angry and we are not able to manage our emotions. And that is where emotional intelligence comes in. Maybe sometime within the course of the discussion, or maybe later, Sam, maybe you want to bring it up. Leadership and emotional intelligence. And let's see how it goes. But for now, we are focusing on this. So don't be angry and shout at them in public. Remember, they are human beings. They are somebody's husband, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's uncle. They have responsibility at home. They come to work. Don't treat them as if they are kids, as if they are babies, as if they are children. Give them respect. Recognize them. If they have done something wrong, call them to your office and then reprimand them. And once you have done that, let them know, show them you care, and improve, help them to improve. That is what leadership is all about. And then recognize them. People work for money, but go the extra mile for recognition, praise, and rewards. And that's how it is. Those of us who are in HR, we understand this very, very well. Sometimes it's not just about the money. A little pat at the shoulder goes a long way. A little thank you, well done in public, goes a long way to motivate people to give off their best. So, and it doesn't cost you anything, right? So say it. If they do something good, say it. Sometimes leaders, the only thing the only time you see them talking to their team members is when they have done something wrong and they're reprimanding them. If they do something right, they don't just say anything to them. It's wrong. Please, if you want to get the best out of people, praise them when they are due. And if you want to reprimand them, do that in secret, but then praise them in public. Number 8, give them autonomy. Bless them and release them. Just like Jesus blessed the apostles and said, go out there. I mean, the person has been under you. You have been coaching the person, mentoring the person, assigning responsibilities to the person. The person is doing well. Allow the person to do the job. Don't think that you feel redundant or you'll be redundant when the person gets the job done so well, sometimes even better than you would have done. You should be proud of yourself for getting to that end where somebody can do the job better than you. It means that you are a successful leader. It means that it's time for you to move on up the ladder. So don't be intimidated by the success of your team members. There are some leaders who are intimidated by the success of their team leaders, and so they will hold autonomy to their chest. They will not release the people. They will still be want to lord it over the people all the time. If you realize that this is the time for the person to move to the next level, please allow the person to move to the next level. It means that you have done well. It means that you're a successful leader. I remember when I was I started my career as an HR consultant with a consulting firm. I was selected or employed as an HR assistant HR manager. Then the HR manager was there. And I realized that one of the best leaders I've worked with, one of the best leaders. In fact, two people, the CEO and then the manager, the HR manager, best leaders. They brought out the best in me. Things that I didn't know existed, especially my writing skills. My CEO brought that up so beautifully. And now whatever I'm doing is based on what they taught me and the process they took me through. And when I was promoted to the HR manager, my HR manager was promoted to the senior manager for operations. So you see, at that point, he had grown beyond the role because I was doing the role, performing my duties so well. And he had to be promoted. So don't feel threatened by the success of your team members. Rather, be happy and encourage them. Then number 9, that's the last but one, empathize with them. Show them you care. It's very important. It saddens my heart when I coach people, when I mentor people and I see them, especially ladies. They are pregnant. Pregnancy comes with its own challenges. They are nursing mothers, and some leaders cannot tolerate that. They cannot understand that as a nursing mother, the person has a baby to take care of. And so if before she gave birth, she was doing something so well, and she has given birth and is really not working as you should, you are the leader. Put yourself in their shoes, especially the females. Put yourself in their shoes, understand them, and talk to them. How can you help them navigate that phase of their life better? You are a leader. Help them navigate that process so well. That is why some companies even have nurseries that the nursing mothers can bring their babies there, and there are some people dedicated to take care of them. They have the peace of mind to work. There are others too who give them flexible working hours, so they are able to work. Some even let them work from home for certain periods. You need to understand them. So long as it doesn't affect their job, you assign tasks to them. I think people should stop rewarding people for the number of hours they stay at work, because people really come to work 8 to 5. They don't work. There's something we call presenteeism. They are there, but they're not working. Okay, but if somebody can work at home better and give you the results, the person is a nursing mother, the person is pregnant and can still give you the results, why don't you assign the tasks, allow the person the flexibility to work, and then give you the results? That way you get the best out of them. So please, let's empathize with our team members. And rule number 10, the ultimate rule: create safe environments for your people. And this is very important. Create safe environments for your people. What do I mean? Allow people to speak their minds. Allow people to act, make decisions for themselves. Allow people to make mistakes, learn from their mistakes, and grow. If you don't make room for people to make mistakes, then you are not giving them room to grow. And it's as simple as that. If you don't give people room to make mistakes, then you don't give them room to grow. And let them know that they are safe with you as a leader, that they can speak their minds and not get punished or penalized for it, that they can share ideas and not worry about whether somebody will be offended or not. You see, leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving subordinates credit for everything that goes well. And I think this is part of the course that Sam shared whilst he was publicizing this program. That is it. Take responsibility for the things that go wrong. So let them know that for me, if I make a mistake, my boss will not disown me. Rather, my boss will stand with me and for me. If you do like that, people are able to experiment. They are able to be creative, and creativity always engenders the best, brings out the best in people. But if they are afraid to make mistakes, they will not be creative. They will not take initiative. And if people don't take initiative, you don't get the best out of them. They will follow the status quo, all right, but that will be the limit. Going the extra mile will be a problem. So let's make them safe. Let's make room for mistakes. I mean, we all learn, we all make mistakes. But the most important thing is that guide them through the mistakes, coach them, mentor them through the mistakes, and help them to improve. When you do that, then you are really, really helping the people, and you are really, really going to get the best out of them. So, to sum it up, and this is the conclusion of the matter for me. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is all about growing others, getting the best out of others, focusing on their strengths, being a multiplier, influencer, guiding them through the process, helping them to grow, and helping them to do better than you are doing. Multiplying successful leaders like yourself. If anybody joins your team today, if in 3 to 4 to 5 years' time, they are not better, then you have failed as a leader. As a leader, your responsibility is to get the best out of people. And what you can do, the little things you can do is what I've shared with you, right? So assess them is very important. Focus on their strength, set clear goals, give them praise when it is due, recognize them, let them feel safe with you, give them room to make mistakes, reward them when it is due. These little things, if you do, I can assure you that you always get the best out of people, and they'll be happy with you. Empathize with them. Let them know you care, because until they know you care, they wouldn't care about you. Thank you very much. And I'm open for questions, for experience sharing, and for discussion. So I am going to stop sharing, and then we can continue with the discussion. If you have any questions, if you have any experiences to share, we can pick it up. Thank you so much for your audience, and I hope you have learned a thing or two, and you're already a great leader. So having this knowledge and putting them into practice even set you apart. Thank you, everyone. God bless us all. Thank you.
Navigating through life without a coach or a guide can be very deceiving, making you come to think that you have achieved the highest or the best you can ever, or you have made the best of decisions. But until you become very intentional and take a good stock of your life, you would not realize that it's a mistake.
Pain helps you to come out of your comfort zone.
The law of intentionality and the fact that learning is a lifelong journey if you want to be significant. Emphasis on significance.
Previously, I used to be very unintentional about the things I do when it comes to my family, my work, my Christian life, and basically everything that I do.
In the pursuit of that growth, there are gaps. There are gaps that we need to conquer. These gaps include the knowledge, perfection, mistake, inspirational, timing, and assumption gap.
And I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
I encourage you all out there who need to live their life to be part of CTL Africa's growth journey.
Please take advantage of this program and your life will never be the same.
Thank you very much, CTL Africa, and continue to impact the world. God bless.
Wow. Thank you so much, Patricia. That was great. I was writing. I forgot that the time was up, but it was so smooth. And somebody says, "Ooh, I'm enjoying this. Is very, very practical." And so we thank you so much. Very practical, down to earth, simple, guys. Very, very simple ideas to be able to encourage others. Leaders are not supposed to be terrorizing their people. Your job is to get the best out of people. If your people are not better off, as she says, when they come in contact with you, then you have not been a good leader. So we want to thank Patricia as she takes some water. We'll go through the comments. Please feel free. This is an area where all of us have our experiences. You've worked under somebody before. Somebody is working under you. There's some people working under you. You're trying your best. Each one of us have our challenges. There are personality issues. There are, people have their own problems and so on and so forth. How do you deal with all those things? Bring all those discussions on board. So we want to just acknowledge those of you who have introduced yourselves since we started. Emilia Aqua is here. We also have Rose Odai, who is here. Patrick Alta is here. And Clement Achimjima says he's watching. Elkana Balandia from Tanzania. Keep listening to today's topic. Right. Ebenezer Yeboah from Abuja is here with us. Reagan Jemfi Yeboah is here. Natalia is here. He says leadership is about selflessness and sacrifice. Indeed. Faustina Sari is here. PK, he said, are we on? Yes, we've been on. I saw you were having challenges, maybe your network. Laila Fadel Halabi is here. Thank you, Laila. Ebenezer Ni Laye is here. I'm looking for questions. Mami Bafo is here all the way from Holland. Martin Intia Kofrando is here watching from Asimfosu. Great to be here. It says great discussion. Isaac Ayukukwashi says leadership is influenced, nothing more, nothing less, by John Maxwell. Now Adufu say hi, I'm here. Dinah Ayims Hammond is here from Teman. Interesting topics, he says. Willie Glaze says watching from Golokwati in the Volta region. All right, thank you. PK, I hope you were able to join us. He said she had a stationary problem. It was a network then. Rosemary Aye says, I'm loving the presentation, very practical. Ofo Mensa says, interested, but I'm having to break due to network. Oh, sorry about that. We'll share the recording later on. Martin says, wow, this is very great lesson. Thanks so much. Diana, give room for genuine mistakes. Yes. Thank you very much, she says, ma'am. Lala said, thank you. That was very educative. Miami Bafu says, thank you so much. Great nuggets for all leaders. Well presented. Ni Hansi Notti says, excellent presentation. The current generation is quite difficult to deal with. All right, so there we go. Patricia, take note of this. The current generation is quite difficult to deal with. Even when, as a manager, you provide the best of working conditions. A lot of them want overnight success without the investment. How do we manage them as leaders? All right, so that's a great question from Ninote. Samuel Ahiavi says, how do you deal with a leader who delegates but does not give power? Always want you to report on the slightest deviations. Great. Another great question, Patricia. Note that we will come back to you. Now, Ayele Ama says, PK, please refresh. Okay, so that was Faustina says, thank you. Presentation was easy to understand. Great. All right. There are more comments. So let's take the first two that has come, and let Patricia discuss, because they are so important. I don't want us to miss them. The question from Nihansi Note about the difficulty managers have with the current generation, and Samuel's question about the boss who delegates but does not give you power. Patricia, what sayest thou? Let's bring Patricia on board and let's see what she says on this. All right?
Right. Thank you very much. These are great questions. I like them. So, yes, in fact, I share with your views that it is difficult to deal with the generations of today than previously. That is why the number one rule says get to understand them, get to know them, get to know what excites them, get to know what makes them move on. Have a conversation with them. So, for example, you can talk to them, ask them, what is it about this job that you like the best? Or what do you miss about your former place or your former boss? Get to know them, get to know what makes them tick, what makes them move, and then you'll be able to understand and appreciate them. And once you have done that, the best thing you can also do is to coach them through the process. You have to wear your hat as a coach and then as a mentor and guide them. Sometimes youthful exuberance, get them to go way higher. But with coaching and mentoring, it's a process though, but you get there. So first get to know them, understand them very well, and then coach and mentor them through the process. And I'm sure you make a headway with them. It's very true.
Now, Patricia, before you go on to that, could it also be that the older generation is also trying to push the younger generation into our mold? So yes, we are seeing them difficult, but maybe they are also saying that, but these old people too are not learning, they're not growing. This guy, young ones are having new ways of doing things. They want to work 1 hour and go and play, but we want them to sit in the office 8 hours and say, what am I doing here? I finished my work. Let me go. So I mean, just a word on the need for the older generation also to change. We want the young ones to change, but are we prepared to change?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah. We need to understand them. Sometimes I'm sure they tell us we don't understand them. And I think, thank you very much, Sam, for that intervention. Very important. And the second question is, how do you deal with a manager that delegates without empowering? This is really a tough one, especially if the manager thinks that he's the smartest person in the room. Okay. In the beginning, I mentioned who, to me, successful leaders are. I said influencers and multipliers. So the opposite of the multipliers are the diminishers. For them, they don't see any good thing in anybody. They think they are the smartest people in the room. They are the only people with the ideas that can be implemented to get the result. So it's tough. But what I would say, and I always tell people, everybody manages their boss. If you're not doing that, learn to manage your boss. It's very important. How can you manage your boss so that knowing who he is or she is, you'll be able to still get the limit of authority that will help you manage the task that the person has assigned to you. Take time to know who your boss is, and then manage the boss, just like the PA manages, the boss. And if the person does it, if the person is a good PA, he or she does it so well. Why is he able to manage the CEO or even the executive? Is because he or she has taken time to understand the person and know what he wants and how he wants it. Sometimes just for them to know that they are good, they know what they are doing. Don't do bootlicking. I'm making a point. It's not bootlicking where you always tell them the good things to make them feel good, but get to understand them. And if you want to share anything with them or implement anything, share it with them and let it seem as if they are giving you the permission to do it. Meanwhile, you have thought about the idea and then you have shared it with him, seeking his permission, and then you realize that thinking through it, he will let you do it, but it will seem as if he is giving you the idea to implement. So get to know your boss and then share ideas. Don't go ahead to do things without consulting. It will really not work. There are some difficult bosses. And maybe one of the discussions, I don't know whether you had it already, but you can talk about how to manage your boss or how to deal with difficult bosses. It's another important topic I think that we can look at in future. So thank you. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you so very much, Samuel. I hope that helps, and thank you, Patricia. A little point on that also, you have to yes, there are some people who are micromanagers. There are some leaders who want to be everywhere and everywhere. They need also to learn to grow out of that. But empowerment also comes with confidence. If your leader has the confidence in you, if he gives you a job, you do it well. The first one, you do it well. Then you are building trust. And he knows that when I say this person should write this document, I don't have to come back and review it because I know he will do a good job. But if each time he gives you something to do, you come back with the numbers jumbled and very little mistakes, then he's not confident in you to be able to trust you to do the work well. So do your work well. And yes, we'll take you, Patricia. You've given us, at least I've noted 3 topics you have promised us you will do for us. So we will not leave you at all. We've talked about goal setting. We've done goal setting before. So guys, you can go on the platform and look for goal setting, but there are several dimensions and methods. So we'll bring Patricia to share more light. Emotional intelligence, we've done emotional intelligence, but there are several dimensions also. So Patricia, we will wait for you. And how to manage your boss, we will take you up also on that. Very, very important topics you have indicated. We'll come back and learn about those ones. So let's see if there are more questions. One quickly. All right. Now Ayele for Steve says it's practical. Isaac Aiku says awesome presentation. Please, on the issue of setting clear goals with your team members, what happens if some of your team members decide to go in adverse of the goal? All right, so you set the goals and your team members decide to do something else. That is the question on the table. All right, Priscilla Ankra says great presentation. Hajia Alima Sagito says she's joining us all the way from Tamale. Says hi to us. Rosemary says leading with empathy is the game changer now for management. Indeed, very, very important. Leading with empathy. Dinam Zoiku, doctor says he's here. Thank you, Doc, from Winneba. Lakwe says, really great presentation. Thank you. Elvis Asampan says, is Daniel, great presentation. Thank you very much. All right. So we need more questions, more sharing. Great to be here. Albert Donko says, Sylvester Asari says, great presentation. And he says, it's Sylvester. Is it not better sometimes to name and shame in public rather than deal with the issue in secret? Is it not better for sometimes to name and shame in public rather than deal with the issue in public? So that's the second question. That's from Sylvester. Now Ayele say, Patricia, how about the employee who loves and wants won't pull up their weight or their socks and will bail out of an important event when it comes to the crunch? Is it the leader's fault? All right. So that's the third question. I don't want it to be too many, so let's deal with those three. And then you set a goal and the guy doesn't want to follow the goal. Is it better to, name and shame? At what point is it appropriate to name and shame? And those ones that just don't want to do the hard work, they just want to cozy around. What do you do? Is it always the fault of the leader? Patricia.
In fact, this is a great audience. Your questions are great. Your questions are actually PhD questions, and I love them. Okay, so if you set goals with the team members, and one of them, doesn't really work on the team, on the goals, as I understand it, what do you do? Okay, so setting clear goals with the team is critical. Now, what goals did you set with the team? Did you set goals that are in line with the person's current strength, and you think that the person can perform or achieve the goals without breaking his back? Yes, I know that goals should stretch you so that you bring out the best in you, but it shouldn't be too of us to break the person's back. So we should set our goals measuredly with the person's ability in focus or in mind. But if you have done that and so the person is not able to achieve the goals, that is why we have performance appraisal or management systems. So once the person is not pulling his weight or the person is not achieving the goals, as a leader, you need to set a certain process in place to help the person improve. So we call something performance improvement process or performance improvement program. So you put the person, what is it? Is it achieving a sales target the person is not able to do? So go back and assess what is making the person not able to achieve these goals or these targets. And if the person needs a little encouragement, motivation, coaching to do that, you do it. If the person needs training in a certain area in order to do that, you do that. So set a performance improvement program in place for the person and see if the person will measure up. If you have done all that and still the person is not measuring up, and like the HR people will say, then it's time to say goodbye so that the person might find his strength in another organization or another area where he can perform better. Okay. The next question is it not sometimes good to name and shame? Of course, but you should be mindful of who you are naming and shaming. That is why I said it all begins with understanding your people, knowing your team members. There are some team members who are very sensitive emotionally. So if you say anything to them publicly, it will just let them coil back, and it will be difficult for you to get anything out of them. You might think that they are not good and you want to release them, but it will be because they're emotionally troubled because of that. But if the person is also, you've done that in confidence, and the person is repeating the same thing, then you let the person know that to set an example, you're going to discuss this with the team. And in discussing it with the team, it should be like, yes, we all want to learn something from it. It's a learning forum for us. And so today we are discussing this topic and just talk about it. I mean, it is said that the Kutiebian in Nura, is that not? Who the cap fits, let him wear it. In that discussion, the person will know. But the others too, the only time you get them to shape up and do well is to name them and shame them publicly. And if that is the only way to do, go ahead. So it boils down to know your team members, who works best when you reprimand in public and who works best when you reprimand in private. But generally, I will still say reprimand people in public, reprimand them in secret, praise them in public. What is the other question?
Patricia,
Or have
before
I
you
answered
go,
all the questions?
before there's one more, but before you go on, there'll be situations which are ethical situations where people are actually breaching the rules.
Yeah.
Or where you need to communicate to the generality to reinforce some values. That would be there will be situations where that will be necessary to do that to the whole group, but it's not so much about shaming, but more of reinforcing the values and the standards that we want everybody to. And we can use a case that has happened as an example to be able to teach people or show people. For example, in banking, there may be somebody may have done some transactions that is cleverly very way of breaking the rules, and people may not have even thought about it. And you want to use that to teach the group. You don't necessarily have to bring up the person's name and picture and shame him, but you want to. There are certain situations where sanctions can be meted out, and people will know that this is not allowed. So that is also some of the cases where you have to sanction people, take them through the process and sanction them and let people know that this particular behavior is not acceptable here. That's different from where you're correcting people, coaching people, and bringing them. I don't know if you have word on that.
And Sam, on that one, that is why every organization should have their policies, in place. So policies and procedures, like Sam, you said, spell out exactly what behavior is tolerated, what is accepted, what is not acceptable, and what sanctions it goes with. So if the policy is clear, then everybody is clear in their minds what the outcome of their particular action will be. But if there are no policies, and sometimes too, policies are there, but it's like they're in the cabinet, it's hidden, nobody knows. That one too doesn't help. I mean, from the perspective of an HR person, make the policy known, let everybody understand what the behaviors are, what the sanctions are, what disciplinary actions to be taken against them if they go contrary to this particular rule or principle or policy and all that. So yes, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, okay. So that's very good. But I think the others about the person, your answer addresses.
I think you've done everything. The person is still not pulling their weight.
Yes.
Is that not?
Yes. I think you've addressed that already.
Okay, yes.
I'm seeing Isaac asking, please, on the issue of setting goals, when the team members, what happens if some of your team members decide to go? I think that has been addressed.
I think I've answered that as well.
I've answered that one. All right, this is from Wavo from Togo. So I'm going to try to read his French English here. Thank you so much. How can we manage with a leader who, when he's not part of a program made by the team, always changes everything? So the team decides to do something, the leader is not informed or is not involved, and he comes and changes everything. A leader that never agrees with his team, whenever he doesn't agree with the team, has to change things to suit his way. All right, so I guess the point is that how do you deal with a leader who is always wanting to do things his way and not listening to the team and the suggestions of the teams and so on and so forth? Obviously, the team has to go to the direction of the leader, but what do you do when this leader does it, whatever the team brings up, he throws it away and wants his way.
I think this ties in with a question that I answered earlier, about the leader. So of course it means that clearly this leader is a diminisher. He thinks that
Mhm.
he's the smartest person in the room, and that nobody
Yes.
else's idea is important. But if you know that this is the kind of leader, how do you deal with him? You don't go as a team to discuss something behind his back and then come and show it to him. That one, he will shoot it down, because he, even if it's a good idea, so long as he's not aware, or he's not the one that has given you the go ahead, he will have problems with it. So you know this is who the person is. He just wants recognition from you, and recognize him as the leader. So go to me, have idea, boss. I have this idea. I want to share it with you, and see if it's something that you also share. So I mean, you do so with wisdom, so they get to know that you are sharing that deal, but you end up saying, oh yes, it's something that I also know, and maybe I share in, then you can run with it. Otherwise, so always give feedback, always consult. See the person as your consultant, really always consult them. That way he will give his buy-in, and then you'll be able to implement. Otherwise, you will always shoot it down because he thinks he's the smartest person.
Absolutely. And like you said, go and sell the idea to him, and let him come and sell to the team.
Exactly.
Let him be the one who is saying, this is a great idea. And I've seen leaders, you go and share some idea with them, they will say, no, 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 this is not good. And the next morning they are bringing it as
Yes.
their own ideas. And if you're not a smart follower, you are going to say, but that's my idea. I shared it with you. You know, one of my our mentor John Maxwell, in one of his presentation to us, he says that, look, I'm going to share all these things with you, and when you go and tell your team that I was talking to John, and then whatever I shared with John, he has put everything in his book. You know, so so just let your leader feel as if he's the one who is
Exactly.
who is bringing the idea, and
Yeah.
just support him and go ahead. When is that way, you'll be able to carry on. All right. So Priscilla is saying it's very important. Goal setting process is not cumbersome or shrouded in some secrecy, or just sits with the CEO, and the team is not carried along the process, along the process. Yet they expected to perform beyond expectations. So I think reinforcing the point that you have made. You can't set goal for people and you keep it in your cabinet and expect them to, they're not magicians. So very important. Dorothy says, thank you for the presentation. Desmond says, in fact, I don't know how to thank you, my sister. I've learned a lot tonight. Great. So those things summarize the sentiments on the platform this evening. Rose Odai says, great and down to earth presentation. I think I will be challenging I think it will be challenging to apply some of these principles in the public sector. Patricia, what do you say about those in the public sector? Because it's well done, Patricia. I am a leadership prof. I enjoyed your session. Thank you so much. PK Richardson from Manchester in the UK. He's a leadership professor, but he's learned also from you. And all right. I don't have any more comment. Dominic Tiberi says, thank you. So what do you say about the public sector? And then any other final remarks, unless there's some questions anymore, but I don't see. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in Ghana, I don't know about elsewhere, but I know that in Ghana, the public sector seems to be in a different environment or world when it comes to some of these principles. But I have also seen a public servant who is a leader who has also been able to implement some of these things. and are working, it all boils down to the leadership. That is why John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership. So if the leader accepts these principles and understands that this will work, but of course, some too, because of the way they found themselves in the organization, somebody's uncle, somebody's, father is a chairman or MP, and so the person seems untouchable. But if you're a leader and you want to make a difference, documentation is very important. So if you see that somebody is going off, you have done everything you should do, but it's not working, you have a conversation with the person, it's not working, the best thing you can do is to document. So for me, it was not a public service, all right, but a private service. And we had a policy about coming to work late, that the first time you do a verbal warning, second time written warning and all that. So the first time, if it's a verbal warning, all right, but I call you into my office, we are having a conversation, and I have a form that says that we have had this conversation, and you sign the form that we had this conversation because you want to leave an audit trail. If tomorrow you take an action that has to that will go to, let's say, make recommendation for the person to be sanctioned or disciplined, and somebody is trying to hold you against that, then you have the audit trail to show for it. But I understand where you're coming from. It can be very challenging, Rose. It can be very challenging, but it's possible. And for me, I think that it depends on the individual. If you want to be a successful leader, the principles are there. You can learn them. If you have the opportunity to implement them in your area, do so, create opportunities. But if it's challenging, maybe you pocket it for another time. But I'm saying that much as it's difficult, if you're able to keep an audit trail too, it helps. So that if somebody touches you because you have touched somebody who obviously deserves to be touched, not touched as in, but in terms of disciplinary action, then you have your back covered. But yes, I know that it's difficult sometimes. I don't know if Sam has anything to say about that.
This is good. I think that is a good answer. The public sector is sometimes difficult to apply some of these things, but it is not because these things don't work. Exactly. It's just because of the people. And like you said, if you find leaders, there's some leaders in the public sector who are actually applying these things, and it works for them. So if there's anybody in the public sector, just begin to apply. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy because there may not be systems in place. But this is where we are going. That is why we are here on the leadership platform. All right. So we'll come back to you, Patricia, in a minute to give us your final remarks, because I don't see any other comments. Hector Ninaku says, great presentation. So I'll take to Kofi to share with us our growth journey, guys. We have great people learning the growth journey, and we want to encourage all of you. So we want to just share some of the thoughts of some of those people on the platform learning on the growth journey right now with some of you. And we'll come back to Patricia to share with us her closing remarks. All right, Kofi, over to you.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. From the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Eyiu.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Yim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
Have a blessed and sweet life. Thank you.
All right. So I want to encourage you. We are on our 4th group. This program, we limit it to 15 people, 15 weeks of coaching, guiding exercises, practical learning to help you take control over your own growth. Whether it's your personal growth, whether it's professional growth, any area of your life where you need these 15 weeks. By the end of the 15 weeks, you have your own growth plan, and your life is going to be more intentional and focused along your plan. So we encourage you to learn. We are about to land on the 3rd cohort in 2 weeks, and then we are starting the 4th cohort. So register now. Once we have 15 people, the plane is full, and you can enroll for the next one. This is a rolling program. So please encourage your members. A number of companies have, submitted or registered for their team members that they think they need to grow. Speak to your bosses, and then let's see what you can do for your team members. So please join us, and I think the link is available on all our platforms. CTL Africa, Kofi, share the link in the chat also so that people can register. All right, thank you so much. Now, Patricia, we can't thank you enough. Everybody is happy with your presentation. People have learned a lot. So your final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam, for the opportunity. And thank you, everybody, for your audience. Before I leave, let me reiterate the fact that the best thing you can ever do as a leader is to learn how to get the best out of your people. Because if you get the best out of your people, it frees you. Okay, you get the time to take that vacation. That is very important. You'll be able to go on leave and enjoy your leave without any problems, because you have developed people that will hold the fort very well if you go on leave. The reason why most leaders don't go on leave and are not able to keep a balance of their work and family life is because they don't trust people. They've not developed people enough so that within the next, maybe the 10 days or the 12 days that they will go on leave, they can't. So develop people. If you do that, it frees you. It gives you time to actually enjoy your life, enjoy your vacation, take care of your life, take care of your family. Work-life balance is very important. If you're able to do that, then you would have, if you be able to enjoy your life and work at the same time, then as a leader, you should always strive to bring out the best in people. In the long run, you do yourself a great favor by doing that. Thank you, Sam, once again. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate this platform, and I appreciate every one of you here. God bless us all.
Thank you, Patricia. We appreciate you. God bless you. And guys, the link for the Growth Accelerator journey is shared. So pick it and register. We have a few more places for the 4th group that is going to start in the middle of May. So thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everybody who has been on this leadership platform. And next week, we have another great leader and another great topic. And of course, we're going to take Patricia's offer. We're going to bring her back because she's down to earth. People love her and the way she is presented. So she can come and share some of the other lessons with that. So until next week, thank you, everybody. Tomorrow is Sunday. Let's go to church. God bless you, everybody, and have a very, very good night. This has been the Leadership Platform, and my name is Samuel Ayim. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have a special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.